Hi, welcome. Not too long ago, there was a beautiful lady who called me from a place called Ibiza. And this lady seemed to be in a bit of a state, let's say. And she was just about to tell me her life story. And I said, hang on. I said, before you tell me, why don't you just get yourself over here and let me see what I can see and feel what I can feel. She knew I was a healer. She knew I was a reader or a spiritual reader. So she said, would it be possible if I could buy you a ticket and fly you over here and you can stay with me? Okay, let me check my schedule. Check the schedule. Made a couple of phone calls. My clients were pretty cool back then. I managed to give myself 3 days. So off I went. Got to the airport, got picked up, got brought to this. All I can tell you is it was like a mansion. It was huge with tons of land, and it was probably worth, I don't know, 20, 30 million. The lady was on her own. She had a son who wasn't there. The son was somewhere else in the world. And it was only one time that I was there. And just before I set off, I normally pack my, I don't know what I've done with it, but I had a bag. I think I've shown it before. Anyway, I packed a bag and I put my spiritual tools in there, my shamanic tools, my crystals, my incense oils, everything that I needed to work as a healer. Now, bearing in mind, this was a very a one-off, because normally I didn't do this so much, but as it happened after that, I did it all the time then, one-on-ones. Anyway, so I got everything together for this one person, because normally I'm doing it for 50 or 100. So I'm putting one thing in there. And I only pulled one crystal. And it was like I only needed one crystal. So, okay, put my oils in, my incense, my cleansing tools, and got everything together. And I was there, and I got picked up in this beautiful big white car, and I said, please don't say anything at all. If you're going to talk about general things, but don't talk to me about you. And the reason why I did that is I never wanted people to think that I had any information. I wanted them to not know that, to think, my God, how did he know that? That's when they realize that this guy isn't a fraud and what he said makes sense. He attunes to me, therefore I can trust him, therefore I can open up and self-heal. That's what it was about. I'm getting to the crystal, honestly. So I wanted to do a healing session. First of all, I didn't want no words. So I said, would you lie down? And because of her family son, there was a healing bed. So that was perfect. So the healing bed was put out and I started the healing session. It lasted about 2 hours. In those 2 hours, for the first 5 minutes, I was warming up a crystal that's in my hand here. This is what I'm going to talk about. What I mean by warming it up is I held it like this and placed certain energy into it, ready to start the work. So within 5 minutes I started, and then I took this crystal and I put it on top of a head and I started the healing work. And no sooner than I put it on top of her head, which probably was about here. So her head was back and I rested it on top of her head, or it may have been flat. And then I started the healing work. Within a few moments, she started to cry. It was probably the only cry that I've ever heard, which was so profound that I've never forgot it, and I've never forgot the crystal that I used. It wasn't a cry of a sob or a screaming cry for help. It was the most unusual cry I've ever heard. And it didn't feel like a cry from her mind. It felt like a cry from her soul. I've never heard this before. First time I've ever heard it. And I was taken aback by it. And I was so taken aback by it that I started to cry. Whatever this woman had been through, I don't think it was in this life. And I think she was crying for what she held on to from some kind of past life trauma. I spent about 40 minutes at the head until that unusual cry disappeared. Then she went into what's called the shakes. The shakes are normally a spiritual release, and it's basically breaking down all the blocks in your veins, in your arms, in your legs, everywhere. So it's kind of a shake. Some people get a twitch, but it's normally the shake that I see. And that was fairly familiar. So I took the crystal and placed it on a solar plexus. The shaking from that point on went to about 100 times more profound and fast and very unusual. And then after about 10 minutes that stopped. I then took this crystal and placed it on the heart. And it was at that point, within 2 or 3 minutes, that my hand was on top of the crystal, on top of a heart. And at that point, the breathing of this lady changed. The breathing and her whole energy and movement within herself had changed. Something had happened, something had cleansed, something had cleared. At that point with the breathing, it became deeper and deeper until it went shallow. So that was about 15 minutes. In that 15 minutes, I could feel a great power from the crystal that was blasting or emitting an energy that was, all I can say, was bringing her back to her warrior, her lion, her power. The healing session was a little bit longer than I normally heal people. I normally heal people 1 hour and 20 minutes, but this was a good 2 hours. I finished and left the lady alone and took the crystal off and put it back round my neck. And I meditated while she was emerged in this healing energy. She got up and I said to her, can we not talk? And I'm just going to go and walk down into the nearest village and just have something to eat and come back, and then I'm going to go to bed. And I said, if it's okay, please don't call anybody. Please don't talk to anybody, but just be in this energy. So whatever you do around the house, just don't cook and don't do anything, just relax and be in that energy. The next morning, when I got back about 11 o'clock at night, and then the next morning she got up. I think we kind of bumped into each other around about 9:30. What I saw, the first thing I saw about this lady was a smile. That was quite unusual. The smile that I saw was a different smile than when I first met her, which looked like she was in panic mode, but she was trying to hide it. The way she walked was different from the way she walked when she met me. It was more calm. It was more confident. And she came right up to me, and I always remember she just put her arms around me and she just said, thank you. And I said, I think I said something like, well done. You really embrace that energy, and which I normally would say, give it back to them. They're the healer, of course. And this is where it got funny. I took the crystal off and left it in my room, and she said, could you please tell me what crystal you placed on me? And I'm going to show you now. So the crystal I placed on her was this. So welcome to the world of fluoride. Fluorite. There you go. It's an awesome crystal. I had about 5 main pieces that I worked with. I like flat pieces because they're easy to lean up against the forehead on their forehead, on the back of the head. So the head is here. You can lean it up there, or you can lay it flat. You can also flatten it, and it won't fly off anywhere. If anything, if your customer just turns or does something that would be unusual, it's fine. It normally sits lovely. I also had some about 2 or 3 round spheres, and they were great as well. I liked working with them in the hand. I went and got the crystal and put it around her neck like you do, and I said, but make sure you keep it with you for the next couple of days, so I can then do the healing sessions with you. Now I'm going to tell you about the crystal. The crystal itself reminds me a little bit like a touch of amethyst, a touch of watermelon, so tourmaline, and it just has that unique energy, different from all crystals. But what I like about this crystal mainly is the fact that it targets really, really heavy energy. And what it does is dispels negative energy. And the energies that I normally saw the best work was anxiety, fear, worries. It's probably one of the most positive crystals as an outcome. So if you want a positive outcome and you are in that energy of fear, worry, it couples in with what people believe is depression. If you feel depressed at some points, then wear this crystal. Right now, this crystal is causing me around here like I'm going fuzzy, like I'm going weird. Something's weird going on here, and it's since I put the crystal on. And what I've noticed is this side of my body is being healed. So I'm all sensitive here, and it's like somebody's covered my face. The moral of that story is this lady had lost her husband not 2 years. He was the carer, the taker care of everything, and she had to become the husband and the caretaker of the property and everything else. And I think it takes its toll when you lose somebody that you love. And it's not exactly the grief, but it's actually now the worry of not being able to do what you did when you had a partnership. So when people ask me about fluorite, I say it's a crystal that brings peace at times of worry and fear. It brings positivity when we feel there is nothing to be positive about. It brings out a connection to your higher self and to your deep, powerful creator within. The crystal works really, really well with another crystal. And I'm going to show it you because it's a perfect combination. This crystal here is called, see it? Maybe better like that. Beautiful. This is a natural rare. Just trying to see if we can see through it. So this is a lemon quartz. It's very hard to see, but it's gorgeous. This is naturally dug. Beautiful piece. And you can see how well they sit together. And at times, fluorite has this very much colour within it. And when you work with both of them together, you'll feel a new sense of inner power and awakening. So when people say, how do I awaken to my, I say happiness or my positivity, fluoride and a piece of lemon quartz together is a fantastic combination when you're wearing it or you're working with it in meditation or any kind of healing. If you are a healer, then yes, this is the perfect size for me as a healer. It's a big bugger and it works so well. So what I would normally do when I first start the healing work is hold it for 3 or 4 or 5 minutes, get that energy in the room. Also, I would hold it and place it on the client when my other hand is out to receive, and I would work with it like this. So you'll see me working like this or like this. So I'd be working on the client and my other hand out. Or I would lay the crystal down, place my hand over the crystal for 3 or 4 minutes, and then move my hand, leave the crystal there, and let the crystal do the healing work. And then I continue around the body and then go back to it and then move it again. It's a great, great crystal. I would recommend it to any healer as definitely part of your tools to work with. If somebody said to me, what's the best crystal to use on, say, somebody who has fallen apart, they don't feel, it doesn't matter what they've got, they've fallen apart, not because of grief, but just because they've low self-esteem, and because of the pain and suffering of all the things that they've been through, it's taken to a place where they don't feel no joy, they don't feel happy, they feel worried, sad, they feel negative. So their conversation is always dark and sad and a problem or problematic. If you wear a fluoride and just have it on you, you'll find within a space of a week that you'll change, you'll start to feel different. It can happen very quickly, but normally I found that with my clients, if I wasn't giving them a healing session, I finish working on a fluoride and send it to them. It's normally about a week to 2 weeks, and you'll see just an ever so slight shift in their behavior and their thought pattern, and all of a sudden things start to change, and then they start to have a little bit more positivity. So whenever I work with fluoride, I love fluoride. It's one of my, I think it's probably one of my favorite crystals on my website. And because it's so beautiful, and because it's so powerful, and because it's so unique in its ability to bring out the best in people, to heal anxiety, worry, depression, fear, what ifs, all of that negative energy, when it brings out and clears, like my client did when she had the detox, when it was on her and she did the shakes, which is the detox from the solar plexus, and we strengthen the heart by blasting that. You can see that the crystal is a dual energy. So when you actually hold the crystal in your hand, you feel the connection, the spiritual connection of all that is, which is the energy around you, which then connects you to the awakening of what needs to be done. So your mind isn't part of that, it's your spirit. And then what happens is a connection beyond your thinking or thought that starts to heal you, and thus change the mind and the stubbornness of the mind. Also within this crystal is a beautiful energy of peace. So you will feel tranquil, you'll feel, like you're just going to sleep. It'll make you feel a bit tired, and there's a point to all of this, in the sense that when crystals work with you, they can sometimes make you feel tired, they can make you feel exhilarated, they can make you feel like you just want to conquer the world, they'll make you feel safe. Fluoride to me makes me balanced so that I don't rush or I'm not too slow. It brings me on an even keel of my day, and it'll bring me into the energy of flow. And like I said, inner peace is part of this crystal. So if I was working with somebody who wanted to find their higher self, but they found themselves in a depressive mode, I would always choose a fluoride, because the fluoride would bring the connection of the spirit world. Also, it will bring inner peace. It will also clear fear, clear sadness, clear all of the negativity around you and within you. So it's great. It's a great crystal. I hope I've introduced you to it and I've given it the right credit it deserves. Like I said, I love it. I never walk past a table whenever I'm at the shows or whenever my beautiful diggers ever call me and say I've got a collection of fluoride. I don't even say I don't want it. I just buy it. I just buy it because it's beautiful. There's never been a piece of fluoride I didn't like. So yeah, I have a lot on my website and I love it, and it sells like crazy and people love it, and everybody really knows me. I'm always in the market for fluoride because it's a beautiful crystal, and I like them big. I like them big and I like them small, and they're just a great healer's crystal. If you're a healer, they're a great healer. They are a crystal that won't let you down. So no matter what your client's feeling, they'll not let you down, because the connection to the spirit world and your connection to that universal energy that gives you that healing, you'll feel it. You'll just feel it running through you. It's incredible. It really is. But yeah, that's one story that I never forgot. Her life changed, and after them 3 days, yeah, well, she ended up getting married again about a year later. And the moment she picked me up from the airport, looked like she didn't want to be here anymore. So it's amazing how it makes the change. And I would say it's definitely down to that fluoride. Definitely. I've seen miracles. I really have. So if you're into meditation, fluoride. If you're into yoga, Pilates, if you're into body movement and exercise, fluorite is a great crystal to wear just before you start. If you're into deep meditation, mantra, and that's a thought. Anyway, I'll come back to that another day. Any kind of sound therapy, beautiful and works so well with sound therapy. Circle nights were always beautiful with fluoride. Always a beautiful night. Fluoride night with Mark Bajerski and other healers who came was always an amazing night. You can always rely on fluoride when you're doing the psychic and the healing work. If you're wanting to connect to spirit world, it's beautiful. It's got all the energy of amethyst. It's got all the energy of Vera Cruz. It's got all the energy of all the main crystals that really help us connect. Really has. I think that's it. I hope you enjoyed this chat today. I'm going to now make another video on another crystal that everybody's talking to me about, because they're all loving it right now, and that's Tektite, and I'll talk about that and show you an amazing collection I've got in front of me here. So that will be the next video. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you do feel the pull, go to your local crystal store. I always recommend and support crystal shops locally. If not, have a look at my website. Go on to markbajerski.com, click on shop, and then scroll down and you'll see fluorite, and then just take a look at the most beautiful collection of fluorides. All hand chosen, all hand picked, and I've worked on them for hours and hours, just like this one. Enjoy. And also, let's not forget, I think I've done 1 or 2 videos on lemon quartz, but see what they feel like together. You'll be surprised. Okay, I've got to go. I'll make another video before it gets dark and all the workmen have gone, so yummy. Let's get on with some videos. All right, guys. Till tomorrow. Take care.